So we got the buy round one. So we're just gonna hop into a heads up queue here, and I guess that will function as a round one match, I suppose. But this hand is pretty nice. Played against this opponent before. Don't remember exactly what they're playing, but whatever. We have a lot of options. Could go so far as to reanimate a Street Wraith if we so choose. But I think we're just going to go with the Delver. And then next turn we could go like reanimate Death Shadow if we wanted to. Is this Storm, I guess? That would make sense. I lose to Storm a lot. Hopefully not with this deck. That's our goal. And we will reveal Dismember. Our opponent is Storm. That's not necessarily what we want to draw, but whatever. And I think we are playing against Storm, so we're going to move in here. So turn 2, we have 3 essentially wild Nicottles. Could also dismember at some point to make the shadow bigger if it comes to that. What we really want is another blue card, though. And hopefully we don't just die here, because that would be bad. We are making it easy for our opponent to tendrils us, but I think that's okay. I could see forcing that Dark Ritual. Generally it means that, you know, bad things are about to happen. I'm glad that that card is Duress and not Therapy, because Therapy would almost certainly name Force of Will. So now maybe we can actually beat a discard spell. Well, they're still going. I kind of feel like I'm supposed to force this, actually. Seems unlikely that they could keep going after I force their Cabal Ritual, so... So this is 10. This is a 2-turn clock either way. I don't see a point to dealing myself the extra 3. Because that makes... Tendrils 2 less likely. It needs like 2 less Storm to actually kill me. So I think we just keep it like this. Like Ad Nauseam is a thing where maybe we want them to be at as low of a life as possible, but it's entirely possible that that Cabal Ritual is just going to fuel a Tendrils, and then that was going to be it. So. It's just a Past in Flames. Well, then we're dead. Guess we should not have forced that Cabal Ritual, because they couldn't have done anything. Well, depending on what they drew, I guess they drew the Dark Ritual, right? Because if they had Cabal, that would have been 3, 4 mana, LED, cast Tutor, hold priority, LED, so then they have 5 floating. Assuming they drew the Dark Ritual, so yeah, like I wouldn't even have to necessarily counter the Infernal, I could have just countered the Past in Flames. So yeah, looks like we just died. Oh well. I also see Sylvan being good here because it gives us extra stuff. Extra business. Do you think the Berserks are good? Problem is, untapping with a Sylvan is actually kind of difficult. Oh, I like the dazes on the play. I'll basically daze any cantrip. Well, this hand has to get there off Brainstorm. So it's pretty risky, but I'll keep it, see how things go. Just need to draw a fetch land. That's none of those. None of those. So we're pretty stuck now. Thankfully I have the probe, so at least we're like free again, you know. We're not stuck under our Brainstorm lock or anything. But it is still quite bad. Got a bunch of weirdo cards in our hand. Ah, the Berserk. Of course. So the Sylvan would have been... Would have been what exactly? What did we cut for those Sylvans? 3 animates, I guess. So opponent did not shuffle off Ponder. And we're discarding at this point. That's not good. It's not good at all. There's the basic swamp. Puppy's going ham. So we don't need the days, so we're just going to force to protect our hand. They might not know what we have. We could have like Flusterstorm, another Force of Will, that they have to actually think about playing around, so kind of keep the mystery alive. And in the meantime, if they're like, okay, well, he's probably got other stuff, so we have to wait a little bit, that gives me time to draw into a land for my him. So I think that's a pretty good Force of Will there. Land, please. Rats. Rats. Well, at least they're not doing anything either. Ah. It's like not a bad card, but it's not a good one either. Down goes Berserk. Carpet Flower, sure. I'm going to Flusterstorm this. possible I might actually want to surgical the Infernal Tutors, so I think this is a pretty reasonable play. And I'm just going to do this right now while they don't have priority to actually cast another one. Yeah, buddy. Get out. Alright, let's take a look at their entire deck now. Hand is basically the same as what it was before, except with a Lotus Petal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have to force this, actually. Otherwise, they could actually tendrils us out. Alright. Still no land. Still waiting on that hymn. Alright, no hymn, but there's a Thoughtseize. So if we take tendrils, the only way our opponent can kill us is with Empty the Warrens. That's what it looks like. Oh, they could Past in Flames tendrils us too, I guess. So maybe it's worth keeping the surgical. Interesting. I think we just pass for now. Carpet Flowers doing some work, but not really. Probe's pretty good. Lets you know what's going on at least. All right. So Past in Flames, Empty, and Ad Nauseam are the threats. I could surgical this Dark Ritual now, because that would give my opponent one less card in hand. And then that would make my hymn better. 3 LEDs, huh? And it might be better actually to run out the Death Shadow now, but just trying to contain their storm count. If we get another turn, we'll dig main phase, try and hit a land, and maybe another Hymn to Turok. And just try and keep them down, you know? Brainstorm's a good draw. Ponder, pretty good follow-up to shuffle away the chaff. Yeah, we'll see if I die or not. Nope, still alive. I'm going to probe before I dig. LED Brainstorm land. We probe into a Deathrite Shaman. So LED Brainstorm land is our opponent's hand. So we could take like him land, play Death Shadow. I think that's probably pretty good. And then our opponent has to just brick on their Brainstorm turn, I guess. Pretty absurd that this game is still happening. Felt like if I could have played a Shadow early, I almost certainly would have won, but bricked on lands for far too long. And let's see if our opponent can do anything. Paying mana to probe me, that's a good sign. Duressing me, less good. But we're not dead. And at this point, I think if our opponent is going to kill us, they're going to kill us pretty easily. So I don't think there's a difference between being at 6 or 4 or whatever. Force Will is pretty nice. If we draw a land... Well, I guess it doesn't matter because our thing's a 9/9, but in theory, we could potentially have Force Will back up next turn. Well, am I dead or aren't I? Opponent realizes that they're just going to die next turn, so being a 9 and 7 are the same thing. Our opponent actually find Past in Flames? Oh, we're dead. So opponent drawing pretty slim, but you know, can't hold them down forever. So we're going to lose in our fun match, but we still have the victory where it matters.